What's good, guys? So in this video, we are going to be building a fully functional Tinder app. And so you're going to learn how exactly to build Tinder using a no-code tool like FlutterFlow. All of it is there, and FlutterFlow is super powerful that allows you to build pretty much any kind of app, any kind of tool out there. So even if you're not interested in building a dating app, you're not interested in building Tinder, you're gonna find the content in the video super helpful regardless of what kind of app, what kind of tool you want to go out and build. Now remember, guys, if you want to view and clone the specific app and some of my previous apps, check out my Patreon page below, and I highly appreciate all of your support. And before we begin, I just want to say that this video is going to be useful to pretty much anyone who is interested in building no-code apps, whether you're going to be building your own Tinder, dating app, or just about any kind of app, because the concepts we're going to be covering in this video are going to be useful to anyone because they're going to be applicable in all kinds of different situations. Okay, so having said that, doesn't really matter if you want to go out and build a dating app. If you are interested in no-code, you're going to find the content in this video super valuable. Additionally, if you're interested in viewing or cloning this app and using it for yourself, learning how it works, looking at the code, you can do so from my Patreon page, which you're going to see in the description below. Now, having said that, let's begin. So the first thing we need to talk about, now having said all that, let's get started. So the first thing we want to talk about is the flow, okay? This is something you want to do for every app that you build, even before you start writing code or coding the app or drag and dropping UI components. You want to think about the flow, okay? And when it comes to Tinder, the flow is actually surprisingly fairly simple, okay? So we have a user who is going to log in, and if they don't have an account, they're going to register, okay? Because we need a user to be identified in this specific app. Once they're logged in, once they're inside the app, they're going to have a page where they're going to see their prospective matches, meaning people who they might be interested in matching, okay? And so, this could be by gender, right? So if I'm a male, maybe I'm interested in matching females. If I'm a female, maybe I'm interested in matching other males, and this is all going to be configurable inside the app. They're going to see some information about the user. So for instance, here's a sample page, and right here, they're going to have maybe an image that, the image of the profile, they're going to have the name, the age, some piece of information, right? Their location, maybe a little bit of a description, and then they're going to have two options. One option will be to reject the user, okay? Another option will be to match the user. Now, if they reject the user, they're never going to see that user again, and this page refreshes and they see the next possible match, okay? If they match the user, we make a note that they are interested in matching this specific user, and we also check if the other person matched us. If the other person matched us beforehand, meaning now we have a complete match, they matched us maybe a week ago and we just matched them today, we are gonna make a note of that, and we're gonna tell the user, okay, congratulations, there's a match, and we are gonna also create kind of a chat element, a chat event, where they can also chat with the user, but we're not gonna redirect them to the chat screen right away, because maybe they want to match other users, right? So then we're going to refresh the page, and we're going to show them the next users, okay? Now, if the other person did not match, that's fine. We still make a note that we matched this user, but we're not going to show any congratulatory message or anything like that, because we don't know if the other person is interested in matching us, okay? So that is really the heart of the app, so to speak. This is kind of the heart of the app. The other a couple of screens we're going to have will be a matches screen, which is essentially like a chat screen, right? We're going to have different people that either matched us and we matched them, or we matched them, they matched us, and we will be able to go and chat with them. And when we click on one of these chats, we are going to go to the chat details screen where we can actually chat with the user. Now, from the chat details screen, we can also reject the match. We can also delete the user. Maybe we decided we're not interested in chatting with them, so we can reject the user. And possibly we can also reject them from the matches screen as well. So that right there is really kind of the flow here, okay? So that is how it works. We have this kind of flow here where we're continually looking at new users, and we can either match them or reject them. We make a note whether we matched or rejected them, because we do not want to show the same user again, regardless if we matched them or rejected them. There's no reason to show them again. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And we have special flows if we match them, right? We check if the other person matched us, and if they did, we show a message. We create an area where we can chat with them, and from here we can kind of chat with them, continue, and we can also reject them if they want. That is kind of the flow that we have. Now, I went ahead in Firestore database and Firebase Firestore database. I created a users collection. Okay, so I went ahead and created 5 females and 5 males. Okay, and so here is a male. Here we have a gender. He's male, and we also have a field called desired gender, right? And so we want to make sure that we only want to show them the specific gender that they're interested in, right? So this is a male. He's interested in females. Here's another user. This is a female, and she's interested in males. And we have a couple of other fields. We have email, location, stuff like that. Now, this table here, this entity, this collection here, has several users. One use is that we have various fields that we're going to show inside the app. But this is also tied to authentication, because when we're going to go out and create this app is automatically going to be using this users table for authentication, okay? And so we have 5 users here, 5 males and 5 females. I also went ahead and got fake images from this page here. This is generated.photos. This is a AI generated photos collection. So you can look by females here. You have females, and you can get fake images, or you also have males, and you can get fake images. So I got 5 males here, and I got 5 females, and I put them into this field called photo URL, okay? And you will see when we create the app, these fields are automatically going to be added to us. You don't have to worry about, naming these fields. The only fields that we added here is location, gender, desired gender, and we also are using 2 arrays of strings. So we have this matches array and a rejected array, and these arrays are going to be holding UID of the users that we're either matching with or rejecting. Now, when I say matching with, we chose that user, and we're going to add that user here, okay? If we reject the user, we're going to add them here. Now, right now, these arrays are completely empty because these users did not play the game yet, so to speak. They haven't matched or rejected anyone. So these arrays are empty. But these are the arrays that you have to add, okay? So if we go through all of these users, these are the arrays you have to add, because it keeps track of what users this particular user matched or rejected. And really, this user is going to be us. When we log into the app, this is going to be our user. This is going to be our authenticated user, okay? And so now that we've created the collection, I showed you this collection here, let's go ahead and let's create the new app. So here I'm in FlutterFlow. I'm going to sign into my account here, and I'm going to create a new app, okay? So the app we're going to call is going to be Tinder app, okay? Now, we can start with a blank app, but I'm going to show you a shortcut which is going to save a lot of time and make your lives a lot easier. Because we're building Tinder, which has chat functionality, it's going to be very helpful for us to start with a template here. And thankfully, FlutterFlow has a Geek Chat app, which already has chat functionality, which is fairly complicated to do on your own. Okay, you can do it, but it's a lot easier to start with a template. So this has a bunch of screens, but it also has a chat screen, which is important for us
because chat is one of those things that you cannot add later on. You have to add it either as a page or as an app. So we're going to say use sample here, and we're going to start with this template. Okay, we're going to modify it, we're going to change it around, but the chat functionality is also part of Tinder, and that is important for us. All right, so you have these package names. We're going to set a Firebase. We're going to go to the next step. We need to add a Firebase project ID, auto-generate config files. Next step, we're going to say deploy Firestore indexes. This is very, very helpful because we're going to be doing a lot of querying on the Firestore database, and we're going to say start building. Now, as soon as we're back to FlutterFlow, you want to come here and you want to look at pages. We're given a lot of these pages. Now, a lot of these pages we need. There's some pages we don't need. It's not important right now, but what's important is that we have a login screen. We have a chat main. This is where the matches are going to be populated here, which is essentially chats with a condition that both people match each other. We also have chat details here, which is where we're actually going to be displaying the chat messages. And so now that we have the SAP, let's go ahead and fix it up a little bit. So we have a login. We're going to delete continue as guest. We don't really need that. You can create an account. Obviously, don't have an account. We have a register page here, so we can continue as guest. We can delete that because we don't want guest access here. Then we have the so-called My Friends, okay? And the idea here is that we're creating a chat app. At least this template is for a chat app. And the idea is that you can pick any friend and chat with them. You can't do that in Tinder. You're only allowed to do it if you match the person. So we don't really need this page, okay? So we're not gonna be using this page. We can actually delete this page. We're gonna do that now. But we need to add a new page. This page right here to show matches, not show matches, we don't have that page in our template. So we need to come here, we need to add this page. Now we can do a blank page, but we're gonna go ahead and go to content and pick a page that closely resembles to what we're trying to do. So there's a lot of pages that kind of fit what we're trying to do, but I like this page here. It has an image, it has some text, we can use this page. So let's call this page main page. You know, just something generic, but this is the main page of the app. We're going to say use my theme. And now this page here is going to be the page that the person sees after logging in. So let's slightly customize it. First of all, we don't need this icon here. It has class details. Here we can kind of rename it. It's no longer class details. We can just call it main page. Main page or match. Let's call it main page, okay, for lack of a better term. Now, this is going to be the image of the person that's going to be presented to us to match. Here's the name. This could be a location. This could be their description. This is some other text. So I'm going to delete this just to keep things simple. We're going to delete this. Let's come in here. Let's delete that entire row. And here we have a button. So what we're going to do, we have this button. We want to put two buttons side by side. Match, not match. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, wrap widget, and I'm going to wrap it inside a row because we're doing side by side. I'm going to duplicate this. And now we have two buttons. Let me fix the alignment there. The size, we're going to scroll down and we're going to make it 100. This thing also 100. I'm going to come to row and I'm going to center them. Something like this. This is going to be no. Okay, so let's call this, or let's call it, yeah, I don't know. Is it no? It's just an X or heart. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what we call them. I'm just going to say reject right here, and I'm going to say match. Let's make the text a little bit smaller. Let's make this text also smaller, and we can change the color of this button. It's kind of this bluish. I'm just going to make it red, something like this. And this is going to be, what color did I choose? Green. Okay, so we're going to make this green. All right, so something like this, maybe a darker shade. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Maybe a little bit darker because our text is light. So we want our text to be visible. So that is kind of what we have. And we are going to populate these in a little bit. All right. The next thing that we need to do is we need to get data in here, okay? And that's going to be a simple query, and we're going to do it on a main page level, okay? We're going to do it at the top because without data here, without having a user to show, none of this other thing matters, really, okay? So we're going to go to main page. We are going to go to backend query. And before we can actually do a backend query, we need to make sure we have our schema set up. So we're going to go to Firestore here. And as you can see, by picking authentication and by picking chats, it nicely created these collections for us. Okay, so we have a users collection, we have a chats, which is perfect, right, for displaying chats, and we have chat messages, which is that individual screen where the individual messages are going to be. Now, if we go back to Firestore, we don't have those two other collections yet. Do not worry about that. They're going to be created automatically. Okay, we don't have those two other collections. That's absolutely fine, because whenever we're going to be creating those chat entities, chat messages, they're going to be created here. The next thing we want to do is we want to go back here. We want to go to users, and we want to add a couple of custom fields for our specific app. There's a lot of fields here, but we need more fields. Okay, so remember, we're going here. We have desired gender, we have location, we have matches and rejected. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields that we need to add. So we're going to go to this app and we're going to start adding those fields. So let's add gender, which is going to be a string. It's going to be either M or F. Okay, let's add, desired gender, and make sure these the names of these fields match exactly that you have in your Firebase, because otherwise you're going to have errors and you would know what happened, like what the error is about. So desired gender is going to be a string, and we're going to add location, which is going to be a string, and we are going to add matches. Matches is going to be a list of strings. We're going to pick list, string, list, and we have rejected. Is it rejected? Rejected. Matches and rejected. We're going to come in here, rejected, string list. Okay, created. Now we can also add a couple of other fields regarding the bio. So if we come in here to our app, what do we have there? We have age. We have and a bio, right? So we can add an age. Let's add an age. Age is a good thing to add. So let's go back here. Let's add an age. Okay, age, and this is going to be an integer. And I don't have an age in my database, so I'm going to quickly add this age here. Age is a number. Okay, we have age, and let's add this age. Let's say 25. So I'm going to quickly add the ages for all the other users that I created so that it's more realistic. All right, so I went ahead and added an age field for all the users here, for all the 10 users here. And so now if you go to the app, this age field matches the field that we have in the database, okay? So now that we created schema here, we added new schemas, we can start actually working with the data. So I'm going to go back here. We have this app here. We're going to go in here. We have the main page, and now we can query the data. We're going to say query collection, and we're going to say users, okay? We're going to be getting just a single document. We're going to disable this because we're going to be hiding this widget in some other ways. And now we need to create the right filter. Okay, so the first filter we need is the gender, right? So we want only the users from the database to be pulled up where the gender of the individual user we're pulling up is equal to the, from variable, we're going to say authenticated user desired gender, okay? We want these the next user to show up only if their gender matches the gender that we are looking for. Now, when I say we, I'm speaking as an authenticated user, right? I'm always thinking in terms of the authenticated user. The next filter that's very important is we only want to display user that we have not seen before. Now, what do I mean showing the users that I have not seen before? Well, let me show you. Let's say I'm logged in as this user. Let's say I'm logged in as Luke, and I want to make sure that the next user, they are not either in the matches collection or the rejected collection. Okay, so this user cannot be there, because if we match this user, right, we are going to have their user ID in the matches collection. If we rejected this user, some other user here, their user ID is going to be in the rejected collection. So we need to make sure that the next user we're displaying, filtering, is not in matches, is not in rejected as an authenticated user. This is the authenticated user. We don't want users to be here or here, the ones we're trying to show, the ones we're trying to pull up. And for that, we need to do something special, okay? So what we need to do, guys, is we need to check their user ID. We need to say it's not in, and we need to say from variable, and we can say authenticated user matches, and then we can create another filter, authenticated user rejected. But the problem is FlutterFlow does not support multiple filters that have a not condition. So if we say matches here, and I can do that, and I create another filter, that's going to say, so if I create another filter, and I say UID not in from variable authenticated user rejected confirm, it's not going to work. So if I say confirm, I'm going to get an error. You can use at most one in, not in, or array contains, what does it say? Clause per query. So we cannot have these two queries. And this is important for us because we need to match against both queries, right? We need to match against both. It's not enough just to match against matches because we could have rejected the user. We don't want to see the user again. And it's the same thing matching against just rejected because we could be showing again users that we already matched and are waiting for the other person to match. And so for that, we need to do something else. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to edit. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to create a custom function that's going to combine matches and rejected that we can use as one filter here. Okay. It's only accepting one filter when it comes to not in. So we can't do both arrays. We can't do both lists. We need to combine them first and then it's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new function here and I'm going to say combine lists. And all this function is going to do is going to combine two lists, matches and rejects. It's not going to check the user. It's not going to filter anything. It's going to combine both lists, and it's going to allow us to check on that combined list, okay? So this function is going to take two lists, and it's going to combine them together and return just one list. So what I'm going to say we're returning a string. This is a list, okay? It's not going to be nullable because it's going to have something. And it's going to take two arguments. Argument one is going to be the first list, which is going to be matches. And then this is going to be rejected. So this is a string. Is list is true. Is list is true. And they might be nullable. So we're going to leave this as true. We're going to come in here to code. And you're going to go ahead and paste this function. Okay? This is all the function is doing. And the way I got this function is by checking this here and typing combine lists from two lists or something like that. This is AI generated code and I got this function back. It's a very, very simple function. We create a new list, empty new list, and all we're doing is we're checking is matches not null, meaning it's actually has something. We're adding the elements from matches and then we're adding the elements from rejected and we're returning a combined list. And so now I'm going to say save. We have this function and what we're going to do is we're going to pass matches and rejected to this function and we're going to be getting back just the combined list that we can actually use in this kind of UI thing. So let's pass our two arguments. Matches here, we're going to say from variable and we're going to say authenticated user, this is us, logged in user, matches. Okay, confirm. Rejected, from variable, authenticated user, rejected. Okay, confirm. Here we're going to say no further changes, and we're going to say confirm. And now what we're doing is we are checking if the user ID of the user we're trying to show exists in the combined list of the people we matched or rejected, okay? And we want to also make sure we do exclude current user because when we pull up users, we do not want to pull up the user that's currently authenticated. We want the authenticated user to be compared to look at all the other users except authenticated users. So this is a very nice feature here. We want exclude authenticated user. And so we are filtering them by gender, by preferred gender, desired gender, and also making sure that we have not seen that user just yet. Okay, confirm. Always click confirm because it doesn't save it automatically. Okay, so now this thing is going to have a single document that we can look at. Let's take a look at the errors we're getting. Custom functions, we need to make sure that It validates it. Okay, there's no errors. We need to configure indexes here. Let's deploy our indexes. We can also deploy rules as well. All right. So now this page, every time it's refreshed, it's going to show a next potential match to us, okay? So now we can, we can change the image. So we're going to click on the image. We're going to go into network. We're going to say set path from variable, and we're going to go to this user document. We're going to display their photo. This is going to be their username here. And we're going to say set from variable users display name. This thing is going to be maybe their location. Users location. We also want to display the age. So maybe on this row, we're going to add another text. We're going to duplicate it. And we want this maybe, this is location. This could be age. We're going to come in here and we're going to say age. Confirm. So location, age. Let's center this row, something like this. Okay, and maybe center this inside. I don't know, or maybe left justified looks better. You can kind of do what you want. We have a bio there. I don't have a bio in the database, so I'm just going to delete it. You can have a description if you want. It's very easy to do. You just add a new field to database and create a little bio. And so we have a main page. We have an image of the user. We have their name. We have this. We have their age. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to create workflows for these buttons. So what happens when the user is rejected? What happens when the user is matched? And I created a little cheat sheet here that tells you the flows. Okay. So we have a match flow and we have a reject flow. So let's work on the reject flow because it's simpler, and then I'm going to show you the match flow. So for the reject flow, we need to set on the authenticated user, which is the user we're logged in, we need to set this user ID, this potential match, in the rejected array. We need to add their user ID to the rejected array, and then we need to navigate back to the main page. We need to refresh the page. So let's go ahead and do that. So this rejected button that we want to reject, going to come in here. We're going to add an action, database. And Firebase database here, we want to update document, and we're going to go to authenticated user reference. And what we want to do is we need to pick our rejected field. And what are we going to be doing? We're going to be adding to the set this UID of the user from variable and user's document UID. Okay, now authenticated user has this potential user in their rejected, so they're not going to see this user again. But we also need to do something else. We're going to open the flow editor here, and we're going to add another action, and this thing is going to navigate back to the page, refresh the page basically, right? We're going to say navigate to main page. Okay, we're going to do an instant, and now it's just simply going to refresh the page because that's the flow, right? If you reject it, it's just going to show the next possible match. Okay. We're going to hit close. Now we have the workflow for this reject button, this reject flow, which is fairly simple. Now let's work on the workflow for this match, which is a little bit more complex. So the first thing that we do is we set, in the authenticated user, we set it in the matches, meaning we add the user ID. Next, we want to check if they also matched us as well, right? So on their end, did they match us before? If they did, we are going to create a new chat record, meaning that we can go to the chat screen and we're going to see an entry so that we can chat with them if they also matched us. And we are going to show a snack bar, show some kind of event that's going to say you have a new match. Congratulations. We can say, congratulations, you have a new match. We're going to delay an X amount of time. I have here 3000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. Before we refresh the page so that we can show, so that the user can see this snack bar, this message here, okay? So that is the flow. So let's go ahead and build this flow out here. We're going to go to match, workflow here, open the flow editor, add an action. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to do a database. So we're going to update document, and we're going to be updating ourselves as an authenticated user. And we are going to look for matches. Okay, we're going to say matches. We're going to add to set from variable. This is going to be this current user that we matched on UID. Okay, that's the first thing. The next thing we need to do is we need to check whether the other user matched us as well before, right? So we're going to create a conditional. And what we want to do is we want to go to the user's document and we want to go to their matches. We're going to say matches and we're going to say list contains items. So we're going to that user's matches and we're seeing if on that user's matches, it contains us. We're going to go to authenticated user, user ID. And if this is true, we're going to create a new chat record so we can chat with that user. And we're also going to show a message, okay, like congratulations, you matched the users. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come here, we're going to add an action. We're going to go to the database. We're going to create a new chat document, okay? So we're going to come in here. We have chats. And now we're going to populate this chat document. Now, before I populate this document, I want to show you how it looks, okay? So if we come in here, we come to chats, which was created automatically by using the chat template. If we go to the chat collection, we have a bunch of fields. So first we have a users field, which is a list of references of the users that are chatting. Next, we have a field of user A, which is a reference to the user, field of user B, which is a reference. We have the last message, okay, last message to display. This is going to be a string. Last message time, timestamp, last message seen by, and last message seen sent by. Okay, so you don't have to worry about these. What you need to understand here is this users, we need to create a user collection. It's a list of 2 users that are chatting. And then here they're individually. So this is user 1, user 2, and then we have a last message as well so that we can display that last message. And so the key here is that when you are using a chat app, it needs to follow a specific format. So if you're creating any kind of an app that's using this chat module from FlutterFlow, you need to pay close attention. Okay, so if we're going to go in here, we're going to create this new chat record and we're going to have various fields. Okay, so user B, last message time. That's it. You don't have to worry about last seen by. It's not important right now. Now, we have this users collection. This collection accepts a list. We don't have a list. Okay, we don't have a list. That is why, guess what? We need to create another custom function that's going to take these 2 users that we need to put into a list, and it's going to pass that. Very, very simple custom function. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to set value. Okay, we're going to create a new value of 2 users as a list. We're going to come here, and we're going to say custom function. Okay, because otherwise we can't pass an array. We can't pass a list. It's expecting a list. We don't have a list. So we need to create a new function, and we're going to say create user list or chat user list, okay, of 2 users that are chatting. And this function is going to return a list of users references. So we're going to kind of have document reference. This is going to be users. It's a list. It's not nullable, and it's going to accept 2 arguments, which are 2 user references. So this is going to be user ref 1, user ref 2. This is going to be a document reference. It's going to be users. It's not a list. It's not nullable because it has something. This is document reference. It's users, not a list, not nullable. Okay, now we're going to go into code, and we have this code generated. And this is the simplest function you probably will ever write in your life. You can just do return, square brackets, user ref 1, user ref 2, close square brackets, semicolon. That's it. Now we're just returning a list. Now you can hit save. And now we are using this function to generate a new list for us, which is what that chat entity expects. So now let's pass to that function the users. And the convention for passing the users, I'm always passing the first user as the other user and the second user as the authenticated user. So this user is going to be the user that we matched. Okay, so we're going to go to the users document. We're going to pass their reference. And then we're going to pass ourselves from variable, authenticated user, user reference. Okay, we're not going to say no further changes, confirm. Okay, so now right here, we pass the list, right? Remember, we passed this list right here. This list right here, this users needs a list. And this is a format that you cannot do anything about. Next, let's pass user A and user B. So user A is going to be the other user. User's document, reference, and user B is going to be us. Okay, authenticated user, user reference. Last message, we are going to say we're going to create an empty message, so there is at least something. Okay, and last message time, we're just going to say global properties, current time. Okay, and that right there is how you create a new chat record. So if users had just matched with each other, they can start chatting in one of the other screens. Next thing, we want to show some kind of a message. So I'm going to come in here, add an action. We're going to show a snack bar here, and we're going to say, specific value, congratulations, you have a new match. After that, we want to create a pause, right? We want the user to actually see the snack bar, so we're going to create a new action here, and we're going to say await delay, and this is in milliseconds, so divided by 1,000, you get seconds, so I'm just going to say 3,000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. I'm going to scroll down, and then regardless of whether the other user matched us or not, we need to refresh this page. Okay, if they matched us, then we're going to show the next match. If they didn't match us, we're going to show the next match in any case. So we're going to add an action, and we are going to say navigate to main page. Let's do an instant navigation, and that's it. So that right there is our match flow. So if we match, we need to check if the other person matched. If they did, then we need to do something special. If they didn't, then we mark that event in any case, and then we refresh the page in any case. Okay? So that is kind of what we have there. Now, before I continue, I want to create a navbar here. That's going to be a lot easier for kind of showing the pages. So what do we need a navbar for? For which pages? We need it for the main page here. We're going to come here. We're going to say show navbar, and it automatically creates a navbar. And let's double check for which pages. So for this page is the main page. So yeah, it can have a homepage icon. We also have a profile, user profile, and then we have the chat screen. This is perfect, except I don't like the layout. I don't like the order of these pages. So let's come in here. Let's go to navbar, and let's rearrange that. I want the main page to be first. I want the chat main to be second, and I want the profile to be last. That's kind of how I want. You are free to set it up how you want. Let's go back to the app. And the other thing that we need to do, I just remembered, is we need to go into authentication, and we need to make sure that the entry page and the logged in page is correct. The entry page's login is correct. The logged in page needs to be main page, not the chat page, main page, because we need to match the users first before we can start chatting with them, all right? So let's go back to the app, and let's see what's happening. We got the login. We got the register, we got the main page. We don't need this my friends here. We don't really need that. I'm just going to leave it. It's not being used right now. In fact, I'm going to drag and drop it a little bit below. We have a complete profile, which they can put some more data in there. This is useful. Forgot password. We have the chat main. Okay, this is built in. You don't have access to these widgets on your own. You need to add a page. We have chat details, which is here. And we have changed password. Let's put it up above. My profile here. This is my profile right here. This is useful for seeing data, modifying things. You can also edit profile. And so it looks like all the pages are in order. So let's run the app and let's log in and let's see if we can like some profiles, and let's see, how the app is going to work. So we're going to hit run. All right, so here's the app, and obviously we need to change all of this. We need to change the images, maybe to change the background. And let's go ahead and log in as myself now. So james@james.com. And looks like the text is white. It needs to be black. We're going to change that. I'm going to log in as myself. I'm going to say log in. And what it's doing is it's redirecting to the messages. We need to fix that. We need to fix the workflow. And the other thing I want to show you is that for authentication, you want to make sure you have this authentication. This is where you're creating your accounts, okay? So I have James here. I have a couple of female accounts that I created, and they are matched. When you create an account here, you're going to have a user ID that you're going to use inside the app. And so if you come to your Firestore database collection, you're going to have a user ID. This user ID, when you're creating a new record here, it's going to be this. This is going to match to the one that you have here. So for instance, james@james.com, I have RQ8, and I go to Firestore database, and I go to RQ8. This is my account here, all right? So let's go back to our app. Let's take a look. We're going to come in here, and here I am on the main page, kind of the most important page, and I am looking at different matches. So here we have a female here. This is the name. This is the location. This is the age. And let's say I'm not interested in matching her, so I'm going to hit reject. It makes a note inside my database that I rejected that user, so it's never going to be shown again. Here's the next possible match. This is Rachel, New York 32. I can hit reject. I can match. Let's say I want to match her. Once I hit match, it put the record that I'm interested in her. It also checked on her end. She'd never matched me because this is the first login. And so I'm not getting the message. I'm not getting the chat. The chat screen is not created. There is no chat screen here. But if she matches me, as you're going to see shortly, she's going to see the message, and there's going to be this messages area is going to be created for both of us, okay? So let's say I want to match her too. I don't want to match her. And now we are seeing a blank screen. We're not seeing anything. We need to create a way to display basically that you have no more matches to show, okay? So we're going to do that later. But first, let's go into the database and let's look at some of the things that have happened. So this is my user account. This is the one I'm logged in right now. And as you can see, I have 2 matches and I have 3 people that I rejected. Now, if we go to this person's matches, there's not going to be anything there, okay? Because this person never logged in and they didn't match anybody, right? So this EFU here, they have an empty matches, empty rejects. But as soon as they match me, they match this user account here, they're going to have a nice display and they're going to see the chat, okay? So we are going to log in as Rachel and we're going to try to match me. And we're going to see if that flow is going to work, all right? So let's come in here. This is me. I'm going to log out and I'm going to log in as Rachel, okay? So let's go back to that app. What is this? Rachel@rachel.com. Rachel@rachel.com. Let's log in. Okay, I'm logged in as Rachel. I don't have any chats because I haven't matched anybody. This is my account, right, Rachel? And now let's try to match people. So I'm going to come in here. Luke Perry. Okay, maybe I want to match Luke Perry. Tim. I don't want to match Tim. I don't want to match this guy. And this is me, right? James' display name is me. So I'm going to hit match. Boom, it says, congratulations, you have a new match. And then it refreshes the page to next people. So let's come here and we see that the chat screen has been created. Okay, so this is my picture here. So it knows who I'm chatting with. I can come here and I can send a message. Okay, this was created because we matched. So I can say, hey. And so this message is going to be displayed here. And I can come in here and I can also click this here and I'm going to see some more information about the user that I matched. And this could be a good feature. We can actually make this thing that's going to unmatch the user, right? We're going to delete basically the chat and we won't ever be able to communicate with this user. And that's kind of, Tinder has that functionality where you can unmatch the user inside somewhere, either here or inside the chat. And so now we have one match. Right, we have more people here that I can match, I can reject. Let's say I want to match this guy. And now I don't have any other matches. And on this screen, we need to display another message. Okay, we need to basically say, if we do not get a document here that's a prospective match, we need to say there's no more matches. There's no more people available, change some settings or increase your radius or whatever the feature is, whatever the flow is. But we need to tell the user something. But nonetheless, we have a chat screen here. We have our profile page. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as myself again and see if I see that chat entity there and I can chat to the user. So I'm going to log out. I'm going to log back as myself. Okay, logging in. And now I see Rachel here. And this is her message here. Okay, she says, hey, I can say something else to her. I can click here. I can learn more about her. All of this functionality is provided by FlutterFlow. This is part of their chat stack. You can add this as a widget, at least not now, not as of making this video. Maybe they're going to add that later. And so you need to create it either from the template, chat template, or you need to create those chat pages individually, but they're very, very helpful to us. All right, so we have our matches. If I go in here, I don't have more people to match, okay? So I need to display some kind of a message, or I need to add more users that are gonna be helpful to me. So let's go back into the app and let's add a message that basically, instead of showing a blank page here, it's gonna say like, excuse me, sorry, you don't have any more users to match, okay? So we're gonna come to this widget tree. And remember, we have this thing at a top level. So if there's nothing here, all of this is gonna be empty. So there are lots of ways of kind of doing it, but one of my favorite ways is by creating a stack and creating multiple columns. That one column is gonna be displayed in this case, another column is going to be displayed in this case. So we have a column. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it inside the stack, and I'm going to create another column here. I'm going to add another column, and we have another column here as part of the stack here. And inside this column, we can have a message saying, sorry, but you don't have any more people to match. So we're going to come in here. And thankfully, as part of this chat app, we have various components. So we have an empty list component here. We can add that here. And this says no messages, and we can kind of change that around. We can edit that component, right? We can come in here and we can edit this no messages component to display whatever we want, right? So we can say no matches. No matches. And I don't know, seems like you don't have any more matches here. Search your friends. Expand your criteria or something, or whatever the flow is. And there's no button, there's no flow, right? You need to go out and change it somewhere else. And then when you come back here, it's going to do that. So we're going to delete this button here, right? No matches. Let's change this text here to be darker. I don't know why it's so white. And this to be maybe a little bit darker, grayish. Okay, that's better. No matches. Seems like you don't have any more matches here. Expand your criteria, etc., etc. And now if we go back to that main page, we have this empty list and we have a stack, right? We have a stack here, the main content, and we have empty list. So let's go ahead and create conditionals. This thing is only going to be displayed if there's at least one document. So we're going to come in here, we're going to enable conditional visibility, and we're going to say users document. Scroll down, document exists. That's it. Come back to this column, conditional visibility, users document, scroll down, document exists, but we need to apply opposite statement. Document does not exist, and it has that exclamation mark, and typically in programming that means that this is the inverse of this. So this document does not exist, we display empty list. Document exists, we display the document. Very, very simple. So let's rerun the app, and if I'm going to be logged in as myself, or even as Rachel, which has no more matches, we should be displaying that error message. So let's rerun the app. All right, so we just launched the app, and as you can see, it's showing no matches. Seems you don't have any matches. That is because I exhausted all the matches here. And if I come in here, I can chat with my match here, or I can log out and log in as somebody else. So I can say log out. I'm going to log in as myself. We do really need to change this text here. I'm going to change that when I come back to the app. I'm going to say login as myself. And now I see Rachel here, who is my only match. And if I come here, I have no matches. And typically, the way this flow is going to work is that you need to modify some settings somewhere else, maybe on your profile page. And then if you come here, it's automatically going to refresh. That is how, at least as far as I know, that is how it works on the real app. And so here's my match. Here's this screen. And now let's go back to the app. I want to show you a couple of other things. And I also want to make sure that we get this login screen. We come in here, and this text color is white. Let's make it grayish so that it's at least visible. Field color. Let's come in here, text field, text color. Let's make it a little bit grayish so that it's better visible. And this is on the login page. I think we need to do the same thing on the register page. Let's come in here, text color, to grayish, here, to this one, and this one, recent color. Okay, perfect. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is that this chat main, chat details, if you go to chat main, you can modify a lot of things, right? So this is our main chat page. And if we come in here, we have this chat preview. Now, like I said before, you can't really use that as an extra widget. This is built in. Maybe FlutterFlow is going to make this available later on, but this automatically is built in this chat view. As you can see, you can't create an action on it. You can't, it's all built in. You just have to specify chat document, which it actually gets it from the chats, which is automatically for us because we are using this template here. But you can modify a couple of other things. So you can change the title text style here. You can change the date style, right here. It displays a date. And you can have a preview. You can change the preview text style. So we're leaving it all on default. But if you come to chat details, which is also built in, and you come in here, it has this thing here called the chat page. Now, this is also built in. You can't use it as a widget, right? You have to use it as a page or as an app. And so if you choose the chat page, there's lots of things that you can change, right? You have user message props. You can change that. This is properties, user message properties. Other user message properties, right? So we have us and we have the other user. We can change their thing. Next, we have user text style. This is our text. And we have other user text style. And so we can change it to black. Text color, maybe we make it gray also. I think gray is a good color. And let's change this to gray. Next, we have input hint style, right? This is the style here. We have input text style. I'm going to leave that to default. And we have empty chat widget. And I'm using the same widget as I'm using for the matches. So it's displaying the same thing. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to come in here, you want to go to widgets, and you want to have two widgets. Duplicate component. This is our empty matches. So I'm going to call this empty matches here. And this is going to be empty chats, right? This is going to be empty chat. Okay? And so now we can modify this widget. We can say no chat, no messages, whatever. You don't have any messages, any more messages here. And now we need to make sure we're using the right widgets where we need to use them. So if we come in here, we have this chat page. We scroll down. We need a empty component, right? This is an empty chat widget, and we need to select it. So we're going to obviously select empty chat here. And here we're using empty matches. And then on the other hand, and the other side, in chat main, we are using empty chat. So that way everybody's happy. We're showing the right information. So now we changed the text colors. We made sure that for the login screen, it's actually not white text. It's kind of grayish so that we can see it. We modified a lot of things. So let's rerun the app. And now what I want to do is I want to go to the database and I want to remove the matches so that when we rerun the app, we can start matching them again. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to my user and I'm going to delete these records, both in matches and rejected. So I'm going to delete this field here, delete it here. I'm going to delete these fields, the people that we rejected so that we can see them again, so we can see the whole flow. And next we're going to go to Rachel. This is Rachel. We're going to do the same thing so that we can rerun the app. In the kind of the default empty state, initial state, delete that. So now it's deleted. Nobody matched anybody. Nobody matched anybody else. We can rerun the app. So let's go ahead and rerun the app. All right, so we reran the app and now we are seeing matches again. And so if I come in here, who am I logged in as myself? So I'm obviously seeing females because in my profile, in my database, I have it set up as desired gender, female. Now, obviously, this could be another field here that you can create. You can let the user specify what gender they want to match. You can also switch to dark mode here as well. So if we come in here, let's say I want to match Roberta. Matching here, Isabel, I'm going to match. I'm going to reject. Actually, I'm going to match Rachel again. I'm going to match Michelle. And I'm going to reject Molly. And I don't have any more matches. Okay? So let's go ahead and log in as Michelle right now. Okay, we logged in as Rachel before. Let's log in as Michelle, and we're gonna match myself again. I'm going to log out. And now our text is at least legible. Michelle@michelle.com. Log in. All right, we don't have any messages, but we need to make sure it redirects here. We're going to do that in a second. Come back here. I'm going to match Luke, reject Tim, reject Dana, match myself. And it says, congratulations, you have a new match. And it goes to this to the next person. We're going to come in here. And what do I have? I have myself here. Okay, and I can start chatting. Hey, I wrote a message. I wrote it to James, right? I am Michelle right now, right? I'm here as Michelle. And I can, ask, what are you doing? How are you? Etc., etc. Now, the other thing I want to let you guys know is that this thing has full support for media, right? You can have images, other kinds of media here. So it's a very, very rich and powerful chat stack, right? Chat widget that you can use. So that's another thing to keep in mind. This is very, very powerful, all right? So we sent them a message to James. We have this thing here, and we can keep matching. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as myself again, james@james.com, log in. And here I'm seeing Rachel and Michelle. Now, I deleted Rachel from the database, but we did not delete her chat entity. And that is fine, because if we need to unmatch somebody, we're going to just delete their chat. We're not going to delete their entity. We're not going to delete their matches and rejects, because if we want to unmatch with somebody, we don't want to see them again. So we're going to leave rejected and matches arrays alone. But we are going to delete simply their chat here. That means we won't be able to see them, and we won't be able to match with them ever again. So this is Michelle. It's a new message. We haven't read it. Come in here, and it says, hey, how are you? We need to change it. It's not very legible. That's fine. And we can say, good. What about you? Right? Or whatever people say these days. What are you up to? What are you doing? Right? Let me know in the comments if I am writing what people should be writing. All right? And now we have a chat happening. And what I want is I want this thing to simply be like an X, just to unmatch the person. And what that's going to do is just remove their chat entity. It's going to remove this thing right here, their chats. It's going to remove this record, this chat, right? We have two here because, there are two chats happening, but that's going to simply remove it. So I'm going to do that when I come back. And the other thing I need to do is that when they log in, they should go to this screen right here. They should not go to this screen right here. So we're going to make two changes, and then we're going to rerun the app. But I think it's looking really, really good right now. So let's go back, and let's go to the login, fix our login flow. We have two actions. See, it's redirecting to the chat main. We want to navigate to main page, okay? And I think for register, we need to do the same thing. Create account. What is the flow there? Complete profile. It redirects to complete profile. Let's go to complete profile. Save profile. And it redirects to chat main. We don't want chat main. We want to navigate to main page. Okay? So everything is going to go to main page now. The next thing I want to do is I want to go to chat details. And I want this thing, I want it to replace by maybe something like this garbage icon. I don't know if that's too rough. Yeah. Delete icon. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And this is going to be very simple. We're just going to delete this chat record. So we're going to come in here. We're not going to have a drawer. We're going to go to database, delete document. Delete document. We're going to delete that chat reference. That's it. Once we remove that chat reference, we cannot chat to the user, and they cannot chat with us because it works both ways. And because we're not deleting those matches and rejects arrays, we won't be able to see the user again because we already saw the user. All right, so let's rerun the app. Let's rerun the app and see what's happening. All right, so here's the app. I am logged in as myself. I don't have any more matches to look at. That's fine. We have matches here with Rachel and Michelle. So let's say I'm chatting with Rachel, and I want to unmatch her. I click here, and it unmatched her. It deleted the chat. Now, the only thing we need to do is we need to redirect back to chats. We don't do that, but we need to do that. So that's one thing for next time. And then I only have Michelle left, okay? So Rachel does not see it anymore. So if I log in as Rachel, let's do that. All right, so now I'm logged in as Rachel. And if I go to the chat screen, I don't see any chats because I unmatched Rachel, and that deleted the chat. And now Rachel is not in the chat with us anymore. And of course, I can keep matching new people here as Rachel. And then if they match me, it's going to be a new chat. Or I can go ahead and log out and log in as myself and take a look at the chats I have. I don't have any more matches, but if I come in here, I still have Michelle. Okay. Now, the only thing that's really left to do is that we need to make sure that when we hit this, we don't stay on this page, but we redirect to this page. Okay. Because there's no reason to stay on that page because it's gone. This page doesn't exist anymore. So we need to go back to this page. Okay. So let me go ahead and do this thing, do this flow where it redirects to chat main. You're going to come here, open this flow, and we need to redirect, navigate to chat main. Okay. And now if I run this app, I should successfully unmatch somebody and have it redirected back to the main chat page and seeing, what users I am still matched with, if any. All right. So we're back into the app and I am logged in as myself. I can come here. I still see Michelle here. Now, if I come here, let's say I want to unmatch her, I just click here and it redirects to messages. So it says here, you don't have any messages. It should probably say you don't have any matches here, okay? Messages, matches, we can simply change this particular component here. If we come in here, I don't have any matches, okay? So I've matched anybody that I could and I unmatched people and I don't have anybody else. So with a bigger list of people, obviously that's not going to be as problematic. And I can go back here. And so now if I log in as Michelle I should not see myself there. Okay. I log in as Michelle. Okay. We come in here. Michelle does not see me. Okay. And so I imagine some people might be asking, how do you create those special drag and drop card animations that exist in Tinder and some of the other dating apps? Well, unfortunately, FlutterFlow does not support those kind of animations out of the box. And so you need to go out and you need to create custom widgets. So you can simply go in here and you have custom widgets where you create these elaborate widgets and you can create animations in there and stuff like that. And so I actually have a video where I showed you how to create these custom animations, custom widgets a couple of weeks back. So if you search my channel, you will find a video like that. And so if there's enough interest, I may make another video where I can show you how to create this kind of Tinder app or dating app along with those special animations. But nonetheless, right now you have a fully functional Tinder app that you just need to customize a little bit, kind of suit it to your purposes, customize to exactly what you wanted to do. But it's pretty much ready for you to suit your own objectives. So if you want to modify it, you can easily do that. And by the way, if you want to view and or clone the specific app that I built here, you can do so via a link from my Patreon page. So if you look in the description below this video, you're going to see a link to my Patreon page where people can go on and they can see all the previous apps that I built, including this one, and you can simply clone it and modify it, look at the code, look at everything, basically see the whole app as I've built here, and work with it on my Patreon page. And Patreon page is also a place where people come and support me. And so if you're a member, highly, highly appreciative of that. And if you want to join, I will be very, very happy for you to join, because in the future we're going to have special content. I'm going to be doing a live stream this upcoming September 1st, where I'm going to be explaining different things about FlutterFlow, answering questions and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be on my Patreon page. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've gotten value here, and I will see you in a future video.